Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Both of you look very nice today. How are we doing?
I look good.
I was actually thinking I look better than you do. I was thinking that.
Well,
I don't know. That's what Jenny told me before the show, right? I don't know.
Maybe you have some pink glasses. You be good. You be good.
You know what? I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about this first topic because I can't wait to hear what I have to say about this first topic.
Well, let's get it.
I'm with you guys. I like it. Looking good, feeling good. And guys, Rob Parker will be joining us later as well. But let's get this show started and talk about the latest with Clemson. So here's the thing, guys. Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney had to defend himself for how he handled things when an assistant coach used the N-word in practice back in 2017. Dabo said it was used in a teaching manner and not directed at a player. Then another former player called Dabo out for suggesting players not participate in a sit-in related to diversity issues on campus. Then Dabo also had to defend himself from criticism he received for wearing a Football Matters shirt over the weekend. Shannon, do you have a problem with Dabo's response yesterday?
Skip, I've just come to the realization that Dabo Swinney and I are going to see this issue very, very differently. The first 2 minutes of his, whatever that was, that tour, that press, that video, I thought he was just rambling. I really skipped because everything was about football. I'm just a football coach, and, Clemson has been a leader on and off the field for the last decade. You won a bunch of games. It's changed your profile. Yes, you've been as successful at any program in college football. You're moving into one of those Pantheon great head coaches. That's what Clemson has done. But don't make it seem like Clemson has bridged the gap and been this great harbinger of peace and world peace and on race relations. Come on, coach. Skip, the problem that I have with Dabo is that when it comes to certain issues like this, he's just a ball coach. But then later in the video, he goes on to say that, as a football coach, my job is to mentor and educate these young men and help. I'm like, wait a minute now. You just can't be a ball coach in one instance when it serves you, and then all of a sudden, you want to be the ball coach that mentors and help and educate these guys. Skip, and everything that he said, we're going to do our part. We're a unified team. I really like the leadership on this team. This team is really good. Skip, does he understand, the issue that's going on? His team can't help it by winning football games. Does he realize that? It's going to help his fan base. But it's not going to help the situation that's going on outside of his fan base. Skip, it's hard for Dabo to get past what he said. Dabo, because when this happened in 2016, Dabo was very, very outspoken on what Cap did. And he even said, Skip, where is that? Oh, I think there's a lot of things in the world. Not everything is bad. This world is falling apart. Some of these people need to move to another country. Well, that's very convenient, ain't it, Skip? You see what happens when you try to bring about change that might all of a sudden give you just, the mistake people make, Skip, is that if I get something, that doesn't mean it's coming from you. You have rights. I want rights equal to yours. But in me fighting for those rights, you assume that I'm taking your rights. No, I just want equal rights to what you have. That's it, Dabo. But Skip, I just don't get it. And he just prayer and faith. Skip, does he realize we've been praying and having faith for over 400 years? 401 years to be exact. Skip, you remember the story of Job. Job had everything, and God took all his livestock, took his kids. And his wife said, Job cursed God. She said, no, I wouldn't. But when he took his health, what did Job do? Job cursed the day he was born. He so even everybody has a breaking point, Dabo. What can you get about that? It's easy to pray when you make $9 million and you're in the majority white man in America making $9 million. It's easy to pray. It's easy to believe. But try that being broken down, being looked less than for 400 years and still keep that same faith. And a lot of people have. But Dabo, what we need you to understand that this is a problem and football can't solve it. Skip, he's like, well, I would never tell my players they shouldn't go do something, but I was just trying to inform them what they were getting themselves into, educate them. You're just not Joe Citizen doing the sit-in. You're absolutely right, Dabo. So when you open your mouth about Colin Kaepernick, you're not just some white man in America. You're the head football coach at Clemson University. That carries a lot of weight. You know, you say, Skip, he said it carries a lot of weight when they see football players. That's going to be on the news. Exactly where you landed when you said what you said about Colin Kaepernick. I guess he forgot that part, Skip. But I just think the thing is that, and then somehow he's like, his coach, Danny Perriman, using the N-word. Skip, I don't understand how you correct somebody by using the N-word. Normally, if a kid says a bad word, the parent goes, no, we don't say that word. They don't say the word that the child said and said, you don't say you know what. They say, that's a bad word. We don't say it.
Good point.
In his correction, he uses the word to correct the huh? He thought, Dabo said, well, he thought he was talking to him. Really? Really? He said, I blocked that, you know, that N. How's that talking to you?
I blocked the wrong.
Right.
Right. Right.
How's that? Were you the D lineman? Were you the linebacker? So how would you assume he's talking to you? You didn't. And then Dabo said, I would fire coach on the spot if he said that to a player. Dabo, I'm not patting your ass on the back for doing that. You should. Dabo wants a applause, Skip. I would fire him. I would like to think every coach in America would fire a coach if he said that to a player. Skip, I just don't get it, Dabo. I really don't. I'm just a ball coach. I'm just this and prayer and faith and prayer and faith. And we've been praying and having faith and praying and having faith. And your football programming isn't helping that, Dabo. So, you know, like, well, what are we going to do? Everybody got a lot of talk and no solution. Well, the solution isn't what you're suggesting. Oh, Dr. King, Skip, he said, I think the answers to our problems are exactly what they were for Dr. King. Skip, does he realize Dr. King was assassinated 52 years ago? And they're the exact same problem. And he said, Dr. King changed the world, okay? From your perspective. Because you went from being growing up poor in Alabama to the head football coach at Clemson, making $9 million a year. For you, there are a lot of blacks that's no better off in 1968 than they are in 2020. And that's fact. So, Dabo, you missed the mark on this one. I thought it was a lot of rambling. I thought it was a lot of kudos to your program, a lot of kudos to you and your coaching staff, but it did not address the issue about what brought you back into this, and that was that young man's accusation. Well, Dabo confirmed it, about using the N-word and what you're going to do to help move the ball, advance the football.
I'm sorry, but for me, this went way beyond just missing the mark. For me, from my point of view, what Dabo has recently said and not said and done and not done is even worse than what Drew Brees said.
Right.
I'm talking about the totality of everything we've heard from Dabo, everything we've seen from Dabo. It's even worse than Drew Brees. And I don't think we're going to hear any apologies anytime soon from Dabo, because that was as close to a quote-unquote apology as you're going to get. Clearing of the air, a stating of his principles. It just, the more he talked, the worse for me it got. And by the way, before I launch on this, let's be clear, there's a lot to like about Dabo Swinney. You know him.
I know him.
I don't know him, but I know a lot of people who do, and I've watched him very closely. He reminds me, in some ways, of Drew Brees. There's a lot to like. But here we go again. This is nothing but this elite, white, oblivious insensitivity, in both cases, cloaked in Christianity.
Yes.
Both cloaked in Christianity. And I can say this because I am Christian, and I don't like what I heard from either man, because both of these men have huge clout. Drew Brees holds every all-time passing record. Dabo Swinney, over the last 5 years, has become the winningest coach in all of college football.
Yep.
These are white men with clout, but they refuse. Maybe Drew's starting to see the light, but so far, Dabo has refused to see the light of what an agent for change he could be as such a powerful white man. But instead, he chooses to insulate himself in his perfect little bubble in the kingdom he rules down in Clemson, South Carolina.
But you understand that, baby?
King of the kingdom.
Okay.
Okay? You got it? Mm-hmm. Now, let me start with the T-shirt he dared to wear over the weekend, Football Matters. And then allow me to also comment on his comments about it yesterday, about wearing that T-shirt. Mm-hmm. He basically said exactly what you don't want to hear, which is he basically said all lives matter. Mm-hmm. That was his answer yesterday. Mm-hmm. That was the answer that got Grant Napier, the legendary longtime voice of the Sacramento Kings, fired in response to DeMarcus Cousins via Twitter. Remember that one? Oh, DeMarcus asked him, what do you think of Black Lives Matter? Oh, all lives matter. Boom, gone, right? There are only 3 coaches to me in college football who, in the climate we're living in right now, could get away with wearing a Football Matters T-shirt over the weekend and then saying, I think Black lives significantly and equally matter. God loves us all. That's pretty much the equivalent of all lives matter, correct?
Yes.
Okay, only 3 coaches could get away with that. Number 1, Dabo, and I think he's probably going to get away. I'm talking about get away with that without being fired.
Right.
So it's Dabo, it's Coach Saban, who I think would be way too smart to wear a Football Matters T-shirt.
Exactly.
At a time this nation is on fire to fix a system in which Black lives have not mattered to white cops.
Right.
We've gone on for a decade now of too many white cops killing unarmed Black men and women. It's as simple as and as deep and powerful and dangerous as that. That's the issue.
Yes.
And yet it's being oblivious. It's being insensitive to the cause. Nick Saban is too smart to be insensitive. And by the way, the third coach would be Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma.
Right.
He would be more likely to wear a Black Lives Matter T-shirt. Okay, so that's the difference in those 3 coaches.
Optics.
Yeah, optics. And this brings me back to Dabo. He is 69-5 over the last 5 years. He has been in 4 national championship games, and he has won 2 of them. That puts him on this elite college football pedestal. Nobody has won more games nobody has a better record than 69-5.
Right.
He has the second most NFL draft picks coming out of Clemson to Alabama's since 2009.
Right.
Well, I guess he can still get away with it because he can go sell the mamas on, I can get your kid drafted, right?
Right.
Okay. So to me, back to, he got away with wearing Football Matters, and that led to the N-word incident in which he's trying to say it's okay if you use that word back to a young Black man. You can't use that word. I don't care what the circumstance is. I don't know. I don't care how it unfolded on the practice field. No. It cannot come out of a white man's mouth back to a Black man. And that's what happened. And Dabo shrugged it off like, oh, well, he was just trying to correct him. He's saying, we don't use that word. And then he used that word back to him. Like you say, it's like I tell the white kids about rap lyrics. If you're at a concert, you can't scream out the lyrics with that word in it, right? Okay, you just can't. No. It is a line you don't cross. And Dabo is insensitive and oblivious to that, which leads to this protest, this psych center protest.
Yes.
It's called the psych sit-in. Okay, just for the record, let me pull out my sheet here. This psych sit-in, okay, the protest began in April of 2016 after a sign commemorating African-American history at Fort Hill, which is the plantation house that Clemson's campus is built on, in which John C. Calhoun had 70 to 80 slaves. So it's built on the foundation of a plantation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that just gives me enough creeps to start with.
Right.
But now we have Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins speaking out last night saying, we want that name taken off that. It's now the Honor Center at Clemson. We want his name taken. Yes, that should have happened a long, long time ago, a century ago. Right. And so that got defaced with racist symbols, and that's why they wanted to sit in at that house. Right. And it's pretty clear that Dabo pretty much read the quote-unquote riot act to his players saying, this is just too risky. I don't really want you involved. You do what you want, but I don't want you involved with this because you're not just Joe Student. Mm-hmm. You're going to be singled out, and you better make sure the agenda is our agenda as a football teams, right?
Now, you white. Of course you don't mind John Calhoun having his name on the building.
All right.
It doesn't affect you.
No, it doesn't, and he's probably never thought twice about it.
Never.
Okay. So the point is, he clearly, according to some of the ex-players, discouraged them from participating in a protest that needed to happen.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't live with that. I'm sorry. That was just wrong. And then we finally get to what he was saying about all lives matter. Well, look, we get that. God loves us all. We get that. But what you don't get, Dabo, right now is that you don't have to give the talk, as it's called in the black community, to yours. You have 3 sons. 2 of them play receiver for Clemson right now.
Yes.
Okay, if they're driving home tonight and they get stopped by local police, what do you think's going to happen? Oh, it's Dabo's kid.
Oh, Swinney?
Hey, what are you doing?
Dabo?
Yeah. Oh, you're the son.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Let us give you a little escort home, right? Okay. But again, the talk, as we've been talking about, is every black father has to tell every black child today, this is how you get out of getting pulled over and try to get home. Just get home.
Right.
Just get out alive.
Yep.
You have to comply. Yes, sir. No, sir. Keep your hands up on the dashboard. Just don't do any little thing that could get you shot and killed on the spot.
Right.
That's what we're trying to fix. But again, I'm not saying Dabo is racist. I'm just saying he has no use for racial justice. It doesn't help him at all.
Exactly.
It's out of his purview, out of his kingdom. It does not matter to Dabo what is going on.
Skip, it's like if blacks were to get the equal to Dabo, he loses something. Skip, he mentioned this stuff, Skip. He talked about when Dr. King changed the world. He's looking at, I go to an interracial church. Those were only dreams for Dr. King. Mind you, I think they passed the interracial. It used to be a crime. Not only for black and white men, black and interracial couples to date, they threw your ass in jail or they beat you. It was against the law to get married. Mm-hmm. So this is what he said, Skip. He said they got black head coaches, black quarterback in places like in Georgia, Alabama, Clemson. For Dr. King, they were only a dream. Black CEO, NBA owners, you name it. So what are y'all complaining about? You got black quarterbacks, you got black CEOs, you got a black NBA owner. Isn't that enough? You see, that's how, Skip, and I told you, a lot of people think of it like that. You got a black two-term, he threw that in there too, Skip. You got a two-term African-American president, and this country is terrible? Yep. There are some issues that have yet to be resolved, Dabo. Absolutely. It's never been terrible for you. Because you know why, Dabo? Because you were born to the right race. A man, a white male in America. See, that's the thing. And for Dabo, that's his greatest destiny. But white is not pure and hate is not pride. So I don't get it, Dabo, because we won't. Skip, we're not saying black lives are more important. We're saying black lives matter. Matter. Not matter more.
Well, right now, they're the most important thing in this country.
Well, Skip,
because of what's been happening.
Well, I tell you what, if your house is on fire, Skip, I'm going to wear it down to everybody else's house before I get to yours. I said, because that house matters. That house matters. That house matters. But my house is on fire. Don't worry about it. Those houses might catch on fire. So I just need to make sure they're wet down before they go engulfed. See how ridiculous that sounds, Skip? See what a ridiculous argument that is? And that's the argument Dabo is trying to make. Just the optics. Dabo, remember how you tried to dissuade people from your players from going to that site sit-in because of the optics? What are the optics with that shirt that you're wearing? The optics. Did you think about that, Dabo? Football matters in the scheme of what? How? When? In this climate, what does football matter more than?
It's saying to me, football matters more to me than Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah, that's what people are going to... But I don't even know why you would even subject yourself to something like that, Skip. Why would you even why would you even risk having someone like, is Dabo trying to like mock the Black Lives Matter movement? I mean, what's going on, Dabo? Why would you even but Skip, a lot of people feel like Dabo. It seemed to me, I was watching him when he was in the White House, Skip. It seemed to me he was equal to, if not more excited to meet the president than win the national championship to get him there.
Okay. So it's just like Drew Brees, God and country. Drew Brees, we've seen photo ops with President Trump, right?
But Skip, you know
Staunch Republican, arch conservative, white privilege.
Yeah, but Skip,
right?
what I despise, what irks my skin, is that a lot of people will pick and choose scripture. Because they pick and chose scripture. Oh, they had slaves in the Bible. So white men justified having slaves, but it was in the Bible. And a lot of men like Dabo and a lot of others, they will pick and choose scripture to fit their point they're trying to get across. Oh, love that. Okay, this is like, turn the other cheek. Okay, what happened to love thy neighbor as thyself? Well, what about that? What about help someone in need? What about that? See, immigration, that's bad. Well, how the hell you think you got here? You Native American? You wasn't born here, so somebody came here. Man, I just wish they could understand. I just wish for 1 second, even though Skip, and I know Dabo came from very meager backgrounds, but coming from meager background and being white and coming from the same background and being black are totally different. Totally different. And if they didn't know Dabo Swinney, they see a white guy. They don't know that he got that skin, Skip. He can't take that off.
Well, he's not living meagerly right now. He's making a ton of money.
He's making a ton of money.
Yep.
And the thing is that what bothers me, Skip, I'm just a ball coach.
Yeah, that was last week.
That ain't no ball coach. This right here, Skip, ain't no ball coach. You seem to know history. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know his story. And a lot of people, Skip, like I said, Shannon, why are you so upset? You got you got a black president, you got athletes making money. Slavery was such a long time ago. Skip, why do you do that? That was almost 300 years ago. Let that go. But when you mention 9/11, what's the slogan for 9/11, Skip? Never forgot. That was 20 years. Oh, stop, man, they need to miss me with this, especially Dabo. Dabo, you need, you know what, Skip? I'm gonna have to call Dabo. I need to just have a talk with him and to hear from a black. And I understand Woody McCorvey, who was his receiver coach, who was his offensive coordinator, and Dabo served under him. And when Dabo got the job at Clemson, he brought Woody along. But you can't, because you've helped a few black men, says, okay, well, I'm good. Nah, Dabo, because when people hear you talk, it seems to me that you're not good. Mm-hmm. And you got to realize, okay, those Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins and all those guys, how the hell you think you got to be 60-95? That's how.
Yep.
So all this, you preaching, well, I've done this and I've done that. Yeah, they've done well by you. That's how you got that $9 million a year. That's why you got $93 million coming over the next 10 years.
Yep.
So man, this is ridiculous that you would have this. You have this platform, and you're like, well, I'm just a ball coach, and you don't want to use it. It's just not good enough, Dabo, to have black CEOs. It's just not good enough to have black quarterbacks because the human race is more than sports. I just want you to understand that, Dabo. It's more than sports.
Exactly. So my final point is, just the other day, the editor of the Philadelphia Inquirer got fired because a headline appeared in his newspaper that said buildings matter after some of the looting and burning.
Yeah.
Buildings matter. He got fired for that.
You should have.
Here's the football coach who is getting away with wearing a shirt that says football matters.
He definitely should have been called to the carpet on that. You can't wear. I've been wearing, but why? Why?
And the irony of that shirt is, I think it sums up his life view right now.
Yeah,
all that really matters is that I'm 69-5 over the last 5 years, and we got it rolling here. We're loaded next year, and we could win it all next year. Football matters at Clemson in his kingdom. He is the king.
Yeah.
He is the undisputed king.
Absolutely.
And I hope somebody challenges this, but I don't know. Maybe he's the one who can get away and get a pass.
But he could use that good as a great football coach for something better than coaching young men.
Oh.
His voice resonates. It matters. Dabo matters if he would lend that voice for a worthy cause. But I guess that there's nothing in there in the Bible about that, but okay.
Shannon, I hope you are able to have a conversation with him because I think it'd be important at this point to just get it out there. And I look forward to hearing about it.
No mercy.
Carlos Hyde played 3 seasons in San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick and now thinks it's time the quarterback gets signed. While discussing what the league can do moving forward, Hyde said signing Kaepernick would be the first step toward proving that the league is moving in a new direction. So, Shannon, do you want to see a team sign Kaepernick at this point?
Only if it's merit-based. But, Skip, the NFL is in the damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if they sign Colin Kaepernick, what will people say, Skip? You're only giving him a job because of what's going on in America currently. And if they give him a job and he doesn't make the team, what are they going to say, Skip? You ain't give him a fair opportunity anyway, just like that workout. So the NFL is not going to be able to win. The problem is that Cap was good enough 3 years ago to sign, and he didn't get signed. So now everybody's going to think if you sign him, you're only giving him a handout, basically, because of what's going on. Because he took a protest, he was at the front of that. He tried to warn you. You didn't listen. Now you're backtracking, saying you should have listened. So it was almost like you're giving him a handout. And then if he doesn't make it, well, they ain't give him a fair chance. They didn't want him to be in there because they didn't want him kneeling. They didn't want him corrupting other minds in the locker room. So I don't really know how the NFL wins. If Cap, and do we know if Cap still wants to play? We don't know that. Cap really haven't spoken about that.
He hasn't.
You can put videos out there all you want to, Skip. I mean, I can go out there and put shooting videos. That doesn't mean I want to play in the NBA. So Cap's going to have to tell somebody one way or another what's going on. But I just, at this juncture, Skip, I just don't see it. I don't see if a guy didn't get signed 3 months after he was out, the 49ers released him. He didn't get signed 3 months after that. I don't see it happening 3 years later. Now, Carlos Hyde is at Seattle now. I don't know if he was there when Cap was there. He might have been in San Francisco.
Oh, in San Francisco.
He might have been down.
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
But now he's in Seattle. Seattle, brought Cap in. They did bring him in, sit him down. Didn't discuss football-related matters, but that was the closest someone, as far as bringing him in, talking to him, even though they didn't talk football, Skip. For me, I don't have a problem if the NFL is going to sign Cap and it's based on a merit, he's earned the right. But I just don't know how they win, Skip, because if you bring him in, everybody's going to think you're only doing it because you have to in this climate that we're in. And if he doesn't make it, they're going to say, you didn't really give Cap a fair chance anyway. So I don't really know how the NFL wins in this situation with Colin Kaepernick.
I am with you on this one. But I want to remind everybody before I launch about just how great he was, especially for the first 2 years. He got thrown into the fire by Jim Harbaugh, and he relit that fire. And they went all the way to the last throw of the Super Bowl that should have been called pass interference, I believe. It was uncalled. They could have, maybe should have won the game. That's how great Colin Kaepernick was in his first go-round as a starter in place, obviously, of Alex Smith. Second year, he gets them all the way back to the NFC Championship game against the Legion of Boom in Seattle, and it goes to the last throw of the game, and Richard Sherman made a play on it in the end zone. So that's how close it was. So Colin in his first 2 years was 17-6 as a starter. That'll work, right?
Good.
Then the team started to decline, and obviously it's going to pull him down with it. So he goes 8-8 as a starter, then 2-6 when he had an abbreviated injury-plagued year. And then the final year was 1-10 as a starter. But he was 16 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions that year. And I thought 3 or 4 of those games on the road were really high-quality starts. Is he a starting? We all knew he was a starting quarterback, and a good one. I'm not going to say a great one, but a very good starting quarterback. And he well might still be. He would play next year at 32. Well, that's not too old. But to your point, 3 years away from football. I'm trying to make the case that Aldon Smith, after 5 years, that's a former teammate of his in San Francisco, could pull it out, have a fairy tale comeback story. Well, Colin certainly could too. It's possible. So if I could just snap my fingers right now and make him a starting quarterback in the NFL, I would do that. He deserves it. It's definitely not beneath his dignity, but a backup would be. Second string, third string. It's just, he's better than that. And to your point, it would come off as a sort of token sympathy move. Like what? Come on. He's better than that. So if I do the reality right now, Jacksonville, could he be better than Gardner Minshew? Yeah, he could be. I believe he would be, but I don't know that for a fact because it's been 3 years, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so they have as backups Mike Glennon and Josh Dobbs, and they drafted that kid
Akeem Hicks
Luton
mentioned that, Skip.
Yeah.
Remember in Chicago?
Oh, he did.
They mentioned it's like, hold on, Cap was available, and we signed Mike Glennon.
Okay. All right. And they drafted that kid out of Oregon State, Luton.
Right.
And so that's their depth chart of quarterbacks. Is Cap better than? Yeah, he's better than all four of them. Would they do it? I don't. It's doubtful. Washington. I've told you from the start, I'm not a Dwayne Haskins fan, and I think they're going to be just perpetually frustrated with him. And they went down to Carolina, got Kyle Allen, right, as the backup. Mm-hmm. Is Kaepernick better? Yeah, he's better than those two. But I'm going to remind everybody, and by the way, you brought up Seattle. We know what happened. I mean, Russell Wilson is the clear-cut, unquestioned starter. Yeah. But we both believed that the reason they didn't want him, whatever it was, about 3 years ago, is he would be too big a threat to Russell Wilson, right? Right. Because you know what would happen if Cap gets brought in as a backup. The media is so on fire now with this cause that we keep talking about in this country, where everybody is starting to unite behind this racial justice cause, that the media would immediately start campaigning for Kaepernick to get a shot to be the starter, right? Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of teams just don't want that because they're happy with, say, a Russell Wilson. They don't want that distraction. They don't want that conflict in the locker room, right? Mm-hmm. I'm also going to remind everybody, Cam Newton does not have a job right now. Correct. Why is that? Well, he's actually too good for his own good, because Cam was born to be a starting quarterback. He's not a backup quarterback. No. Do you want to see Cam carrying a clipboard? He's almost not capable of it. His aura, his reputation, his mystique is too big. Right. Now, let's talk about aura and mystique off the field. Colin Kaepernick has it right now. Correct. It's huge, and I don't want to see it diluted because he tries to make a comeback into the NFL. What if it sort of fizzles out? Right. What if it doesn't work? Does it diminish some? It won't diminish what he's done off the field. Heck no. But it will say that's why they didn't sign him in the beginning, because his skills, people are not going to look, Skip. It's been 3 years since Colin Kaepernick last played in the NFL. Yep. They're just looking at a guy that's getting an opportunity now, and things aren't going well. And then everybody will say, that's why Team A, that's why Team B didn't sign him, because his skills weren't worthy of being signed. So I think there's more to lose than gain than coming back, because, Skip, I don't see a starting job that's out there. And you say, well, yeah, was he better than Gardner Minshew when he left? I believe he was. But 3 years later, I mean, think about it, Skip. I don't believe Michael Jordan would have been the same. Michael took a year and a half off, and it took him a year to get back. So imagine taking 2 more years off, Skip, even in his prime. That'd have been that's a tough ask. Yeah, and remember, Aldon Smith's going to try to do it after 5 years. He's just rushing the passer. Yeah, Skip, just go get a quarterback. Yeah, that's a whole different ball game to get a quarterback. Quarterback, rush the quarterback. Yeah. Very different. Very. Okay. Let's not forget the debacle of this workout that Colin had back in November. Right. Remember, in Atlanta? Yes. And there was so much bad blood. It was he said. Both sides were saying, we thought that. No, we said. No, we said. No, we said. Right. No, you said. No, you said. Right. And he picks up and moves the workout at the last second 60 miles south to a high school from what was going to be the Falcons facility, right? In Flowery Branch, yeah. Yep. And I don't know what happened, but you concluded this is a disaster, right? Yeah. And you concluded, I don't know for sure if Colin really wanted this to work. Well, the thing was, Skip, is that he didn't trust the NFL. The NFL didn't trust him. And then everybody was questioning, well, why are you doing this now? Why are you doing this now? The NFL has never scheduled a workout. Team scheduled a workout. Skip, I mean, hold on, how is the media world is going to set up a job for somebody to go get an interview? If the company wants you, the company brings you in. Yep. So they're like, hold on, NFL, you've never done this before. In the history of the NFL, where the NFL has set up a meeting for all the teams to come, invite all the teams to see one said player. So everybody was leery to begin with. Why are you doing that? So everybody looking at you kind of side-eye like, what you up to? And it's like, now we go. Well, I want this. I want my crew to be able to film it. I want this. So he's untrustworthy. Because he didn't trust how they would edit if they filmed the workout, right? Okay, he didn't trust them. They didn't trust him. He didn't trust them. So now where are we? Well, I'm going elsewhere. And the NFL's like, that was their cue. Well, I told you he's going to be more trouble than he's worth. See,
In that situation, Skip, you can't give them a reason.
Nope.
Even though it's a valid reason, you can't give them a reason to say, see, I told you he's going to be more trouble than he's worth. And that's what he did. That was their out. They was looking for it. Skip, if you don't, like, you offer, you're like, well, come in for an interview. You don't really want him to get the job. You don't really want to interview him. And they call you and reschedule. Thank you. That's what Cap did for them.
Yep.
NFL was like, thank you.
Yep. So 25 representative NFL teams were scheduled to be at Flowery Branch at the Atlanta facility,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Only 8 traveled the 60 miles south to the high school to watch him throw. And by all accounts, he threw great.
Skip, but the thing is, what they were at Flowery Branch is further away from the airport than where he went. They were going to be actually closer to the airport. So all those 17 that didn't show up,
right?
If they go there, they're like 15 minutes from the airport, as opposed to an hour plus in Flowery Branch.
Yep. Okay, so I talked about his very rare mystique right now that Colin has.
Yes.
And obviously he's just proven right. And my frustration with this whole development is I kept waiting for Colin to seize the day and become the outspoken leader of this movement that we as a country needed.
Right.
And he still hasn't done that. And I don't know why. Because he's not just a good public speaker, he is a powerful public speaker. He has the gift of persuasive gab. Do you remember the media sessions he used to do?
Yeah.
Well, the last one he did was after his last start, which was at the end of the 2016 season.
Against Miami, that was probably one of his better games.
It was, on the road, right? He has not done any media session since then, to my knowledge. Maybe I missed one, but I don't think I did.
Right.
He's done the Nike ad and that sort of thing. He's done the taped things, and he's tweeted, but he has not spoken extemporaneously to the media about this cause.
Right.
And he could do so very powerfully. And I keep saying, why not? You're like the chosen one right now. This is your time to shine. I don't know why. The only thing we heard from him was that tweet, which was the day after all the Saturday, Sunday rioting, looting, burning.
Right.
And just real quickly, remember what the tweet was? When civility, meaning peaceful protests, leads to death, meaning George Floyd, revolting is the only logical reaction. Your violence has brought this resistance. This is the rest of his tweet. We have the right to fight back. Wow. So he went from Dr. King to more Malcolm X, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and again, that's his right. But if he still wants to play in the NFL, that's the kind of tweet that an NFL team say, we don't want him representing us, right?
Well, I think the thing is what Cap original resistance is that, look, I'm a starting quarterback, and you've never asked any other starting quarterbacks to come in and compete or have to audition. And so he thought that was, beneath him. And for me, I was like, Cap, this is different. Hey, I had to go in and audition, even though I worked 10 years in the game.
Right.
You have to. I mean, you're out of a job, Skip. When you're unemployed, and the employer, your new employer says, "Okay, I want to come in and I want to sit down. And would you be interested in interviewing?" I can't say no. My resume speaks for itself.
Right. And look, all this from Colin is what I would call rightful anger.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Remember, what did you call it? He got white ball.
Yes, he did. Yes.
He knows it.
Yes.
And he is still obviously very angry, rightfully so.
Yes.
So that's why you're getting this kind of reaction from him right now, because there's bad blood.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be, if you feel someone robbed you of an opportunity to continue your career.
They did.
And for no other reason than I peacefully protested, which you said now, you support your players peacefully protesting. Well, I tried to do this 4 years ago, and you were adamantly against it. And you created a situation where I don't have the ability to no longer have employment in the NFL. Yeah, you're damn right I'm upset. Yes, absolutely. So I get his anger, I get his frustration. But at this point in time, Skip, after 3 years, what would he be? We don't know. We don't know. And is a team willing to take that chance? Because if they do, Skip, as I said in the beginning, everybody, if Cap were to sign, if 15 teams want to sign Cap, a large portion of those people will say, well, you're only doing it because of what's going on, because of George Floyd and what's going on. And Commissioner Goodell had to admit that they were wrong. And then if he doesn't make it, it's just like, Skip, it was almost like the Michael Sam. Remember how Michael Sam was? All the reason they signed him because of his orientation. And then when he got cut, well, you didn't want to deal with that. Forget the fact that he wasn't any good. I remember coming on your show, I said, Skip, he's not very good, Skip. I said, he's stiff. I said, he only has one move. If he can't beat you with the initial move, he's done. I
actually liked him at Missouri because he was the co-defensive player of the year in the SEC, remember?
Yeah, when you played with Shane Ray and Tony Hughes.
It helps. No, I hear you. But unfortunately, I don't love Cap's chances.
I don't either, Chip.
Yep.
I don't either. I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't know if Cap wants it to happen. I don't know. Really, the only two people that know what's going on with Cap is Cap and his girlfriend Nessa, fiance, whatever their relationship is. I think those are the only two people that really know.
Yeah. With that in mind, though, it would be nice to hear from him. You guys bring up a good point. I'd love to hear where he's at, considering everything that's going on. No mercy. Fox Sports contributor Rob Parker wrote a column detailing why it would be in everyone's best interest to do away with the national anthem before sporting events. Rob said that it would remove the distraction of players concerned about protests while also proving that long-standing traditions can be changed as we move forward. Rob Parker is joining us now. Rob, we have missed hearing your voice. And hey, the floor is yours. State your
Jenny
case.
missed hearing your voice.
Now what? Come on, Shannon, Jenny, Skip. It's great to be back on, no doubt about it. Yes. And my column at Deadspin.com, I thought that this is where the NFL can do that. It can solve two things by changing and taking away the national anthem. A, showing that you can break down long-standing traditions and make a change, and also not putting the players in any kind of situation where there's going to be pushback once the season starts. Because I believe it won't be who's kneeling, it'll be who's not kneeling, because I believe it'll be that many players kneeling before the game, and you're just going to open them up for criticism. We've already seen President Trump, we're months away from the NFL season. He's already talking about the disrespect of the flag. And let's not forget, Skip and Shannon, that before 2009, players weren't even required to come out for the national anthem. It became a thing once the league and teams started getting money from the Defense Department and the National Guard. Then all of a sudden, this whole national anthem and showing the military and using it to try to engage younger people to look at the military in a different light. That's when that came. There's no reason that you have to have it. And if players still want to show a sign of solidarity or unity, you know what they can do before the game? They can all come together in the middle of the field and kneel down, but you don't have to have the national anthem. No other American starts their job every day with the national anthem other than athletes and maybe sports writers. That's it.
Well, I agree. I think it is a long-standing tradition, Skip. I think it goes back to something like the 1920s when they started playing the national anthem, probably at a baseball game. I'm assuming it was baseball. But, Rob, for me, I don't have a problem with them if they continue the national anthem, but I don't have a problem if guys choose to take a knee. I don't think you should be forced. I think people fought, for freedoms in a foreign land, but they were fighting for freedoms in their homeland. That, okay, if you don't want to stand, fine. If you want to go to a lot of people go to the bathroom, go get concession. They do a lot of other things other than have their hand over their heart and their other arm behind their back. That's, we were brought up doing that. We did that in school when we said the Pledge of Allegiance, and we did that, Skip, every time we've heard the national anthem. But it's okay. I don't look at somebody, you disrespecting the country, you disrespecting this, if you don't stand at attention while the national anthem is playing. That's just me, Skip. I mean, everybody has their own thing, and the national anthem means a lot of things to a lot of different people. So I'm not here to try to judge you and look at you any differently if you stand, if you don't stand. But I do agree with you on this, Rob. I think the story is going to even before the game, is that not who's standing, who isn't standing. Well, why didn't Tom Brady stand? Why didn't this guy stand? Why is he doing this? Why? So I think you're subjecting yourself, you're opening yourself up to criticism, and I just hope that's not the narrative behind this thing, Skip. I really do. I really hope that they don't worry about who isn't standing just, hey, this is what's going on. The national anthem is being played, and let's flip the coin and go play football.
So, Rob Parker, even though it was very difficult for me to get all the way to your conclusion in the excellent column that you wrote, do away with the national anthem, you did make many powerfully good points. And as Shannon just alluded to, there's going to be so much conflict based upon the players' reaction during the national anthem. It's going to get messy because there might be some white and black players who just believe in standing and putting their hand over their heart for the national anthem. Okay, are they going to be condemned as racist or sellout? Maybe. If you don't take a knee, are you out of line? Are you wrong? Okay, I don't know how to fix that, which is why yesterday, and this wasn't original with me, I've seen it on several websites, but the whole idea of having a moment of silence dedicated to Black Lives Matter next year through the whole year, every game that's played in the National Football League, a minute of silence during which a player would be free to do whatever he wanted, whatever your reaction, your emotional reaction to that would be, do it. And then when it's time for the anthem, then everybody would stand hand over heart for the anthem. Does that solve it all? No, it doesn't, because maybe some players would want to then kneel during the anthem. Is that okay? It's fine with me. And Rob, I want to make a very clear-cut point. I have said since, 2013, these Black lives lost at the hands of white cops, these unarmed black men and women who have died at the hands of white cops, that they matter to me even more than any national anthem that we're going to honor. It renders it irrelevant to me. But now let's look at the bigger picture. If you do away with it, are some black players then going to say, hey, are you doing this to punish us? Are you taking our protest stage away? Because we love this. We want to show you during the anthem how much we believe that Black lives do matter and how much we believe in racial justice.
Skip, that's a great point. But here's the other thing. If you're the NFL, and you could look at it that way, that's not saying that you can't kneel down before the game and unity or whatever you want to do, but it's also taking that off the table. Shannon mentioned it. There will be people who will still go back at the flag, and it'll be about, hey, look at these players, and there'll be your group of people, and the president will be fanning the flames about not disrespecting the flag. So that's not going to go away. And this way, you just eliminate that from the conversation, and we can stay focused on what it is. It's about police brutality and social injustice. That's what this whole thing is about. Even 4 years ago, and Skip, you mentioned earlier about Colin maybe taking this step into the forefront and speaking out. Think about how he started this. He didn't even pass out a press release or say anything when this thing first started. What did he do? He sat on the bench, and it was like a couple of weeks before Steve Weiss from the NFL Network noticed him on the bench and asked him, what are you doing and why are you not standing? And that's really where it came from. So it wasn't like he was looking for attention, Skip, or trying to, push himself out there. He was like, this is his own peaceful protest. And I think that's why Colin hasn't jumped up and been that guy. But I think in this case, this would be just the league showing. And also, if the NFL were to do this, it would show, being an iconic institution in this country, that we can make changes. We can change some things, and it ain't the end of the world. Just because there's no national anthem, we don't do it anywhere else. We can go to a concert, a movie. We can go everywhere, and we do not stand up for the national anthem. It doesn't make you less of an American, and it wasn't always a part of Americana. It has been of late. And you know what? If things change and people feel good about this country again, and we're all get to where we want to go and we want to include it again, and we all feel good about standing up for it, then we can reintroduce it and put it back into the mix.
I think the thing is right now is that the NFL is riding so good because, remember, the reason why they did what they did with Cap is because the public And so now they got the public on their side. They don't want to alienate them anymore. So they're probably going to keep this in. Because I mean, Rob, you make some very compelling points. But I think that now that they have the national, the public on their side, they're like, nah, let's not mess this up. We're going to allow them the ability to peacefully protest. If they want to take a knee, if they want, whatever your peaceful protest is. I don't know how you could violently protest during the national anthem, Skip, at a football game, but I get the peaceful, okay? So whatever that is, the NFL's like, you know what? We got public support now. And so now I think they're going to bow their back. You saw Drew Brees go back at the president. Nah, we've hid behind the flag and the country and the vets are long enough. This is about an issue that's at hand that we need to address. And I believe the NFL would take that very stance. Now, I'm still anxious to hear. I heard with the commissioner. I want to hear some of these owners. Skip, I want to hear your guys talk so bad. He ain't never lost a word. Skip, we ain't never lost a word. You wrote all the books. You had.
I'm not his spokesman. I don't know.
I mean, you went through
I'm
like
not 8 his PR guy. I agree with you, Jerry. It's time to speak.
Yeah, we're through 8 tape recorders. Yep. Mm-hmm. We're getting all this footage.
And Skip, you remember last year, Jerry said he refused to let anybody kneel down or wearing a Cowboys uniform.
They wouldn't be playing for the Cowboys.
What's going to happen this year?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
Okay, go this direction with me, Rob Parker. This has become a pet peeve of mine when we discuss this issue. It seems like patriotism is now a white thing versus a black thing. Like only white people are patriotic. Stop it. Yeah, Rob, you pointed out in your piece, 40% of our military, African American. I don't know how many.
And minorities, right.
Minorities, correct. But I don't know how many black men and women I have met on all the Veterans Days we have done over what have I been doing? 15 years of Veterans Days. Black men and women, veterans, they're everywhere. And trust me, they love the flag at least as much as white people do, maybe more. I don't know. But again, I love our flag. I love our country. Shannon does too. Rob does too. That's not the issue at hand right now. But Rob, I'm just saying, I think a lot of black people would say, no, we need the national anthem. It's an important part of America. So because it is an institution at sports events, I think a lot of black America would say, no, we want the anthem. I don't think they would think this was a great thing.
Yeah, I just still, and you know, I know we're getting caught up in the moment. We're seeing what's going on out there in the streets. But don't forget, before this was a divided country. And there's still a lot of people out there who maybe don't feel comfortable speaking up right now because of what's going on. That once football season starts and you start seeing the kneeling, I want to see what the reaction, and especially once, the president starts to get back at it. And this is really why I was talking about it, is just to eliminate this aspect of it from the mix. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I agree with you,
Rob. Last quick point. Remember, right now our president is on the wrong side of this issue. He was in 2016 on the quote unquote right side, on the majority side. Now he's not. If you take away the anthem, you would hate for him then to gain momentum back, and he could offset. That would be so dramatic of a move by the iconic National Football League. I don't know if advertisers would be happy. Maybe the president would be very happy, because here he would say, I've regained my platform now.
The only thing is they don't even show it on television anymore. And, when I was a kid, I remember listening to baseball games on the radio in New York. They would go to commercial break before the national anthem. It was never played on the air. You remember that? Never. It was never. I don't remember it, and it became a thing because of the money grab that the NFL got.
And Rob, you made a great point. During the national anthem, a whole lot of white fans are getting hot dogs or talking or whatever they're doing. It's become passé where you don't even sort of.
That's your time to go to the bathroom before the game actually starts.
There you go.
Last chance till halftime.
Okay.
Rob, we appreciate having you back.
No, we don't.
Your voice has been missed. Well, at least coming from Jenny. That's all I have to say.
No mercy.
With the NBA set to resume their season, Bleacher Report laid out just how much could be on the line for LeBron. The article said, quote, if James can lead the Lakers to a championship, he will send a message to the rest of the NBA that he is not ready to relinquish the title of the best basketball player in the world. It could reignite the greatest of all time debate as well. Shannon, do you agree?
Who is he reignited it with, himself? We already know who to go.
Who?
Go James. No. Last Dance don't do nothing. Yep. You do know we're coming out with a documentary in 20 years, right? The LeBron James story, how I became the GOAT.
Really?
We're coming out with our own story, so okay, have at it.
3-6 in the finals? Hey, be the GOAT?
Yeah,
how?
Look, whatever's your favorite movie. Maybe you like The Maltese Falcon. Maybe it's The Godfather. I don't know. Maybe it's The Fall of the House of Usher. I don't know what you like, Skip Bayless, but we got the best movie.
Vincent Price, I think.
We got the best movie coming out. I just want you to know.
Yeah, this is it?
Yeah, this is
it. It's going to be the all-time?
Yeah. Go probably do about 10 million.
Because it's going to be pure fiction.
No.
It'll win the Academy Award.
It's right here.
For best script, right?
I mean, to win a championship. I mean, Robert Horry won championship from 3 different teams, but Robert Horry was never the driving forces of those teams. You talk about a man that's going to be the driving force of 3 different teams. And look at who he played for. Robert Horry played for Phil Jackson, he played for Pop, and he played for Rudy T. All those guys in the Hall of Fame, Skip. Hall of Fame. Look at my guy. My guy ain't got no Hall of Fame coach. 3 different teams. Go to Cleveland, win a championship. Go to Miami, win a championship. He didn't have Pat Riley. Go back to Cleveland, win one with T. Lue. T. Lue about to get another job. Probably going to get that job at Brooklyn.
He might wind up in the Hall of Fame someday.
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah, thanks to me and Goat James.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yep.
Thanks to you and Goat James. Oh, that's
I'm a driving force behind this. And we got old Frankie V now.
Yeah.
About to drag Frankie V to a title.
Are you?
And give Frankie V some Hall of Fame consideration.
Drag him all the way.
Don't worry. But Skip, look, and I know Mike has 6, but Mike and really Scotty was the only guy that was the second best player that was there for all the other 6. So either, Skip, you were there for the first 3 and none of the second, or you were there for the second and none of the first. But he did have old Phil. So let me get on Phil. Now, I can make an argument that Phil is the greatest coach of all time, right? We can make that argument, correct? Okay, obviously Pop's going to be in that discussion, Coach Auerbach. But Phil Jackson's not getting out of the top 3 as far as greatest coaching. And that's what Mike had for the better part of his career. Now, where my coaches rank? Go James coaches. Where they rank at? They top 3, top 10, top 15?
If I gave Shannon Sharpe Michael Jordan to coach, and then I gave Shannon Sharpe Shaq and Kobe to coach, Shannon Sharpe would be an all-time great coach right now.
Well, how about LeBron James get one of that? Can we get Pat Riley? Could we got Pat Riley? Could we have gotten Phil Jackson? Could we get Pop? Coach Auerbach? I mean, I just want to say, well, who we going to get? Maybe we get old Stevie Kerr. You know little Stevie? You know the one y'all, you got punched? You feel good about that?
Yeah, I do.
All I'm saying, Skip, we haven't seen a player like LeBron James be this dominant in year 17 in the history of the NBA. And so all this, he's still the best player in the NBA. Whether or not he wins the MVP, which I believe he will, and he's going to win the finals MVP, because I told you he would do that at the beginning of the season. So what debate? 4 championships. I mean, he's going to win his 4th title with 3 different teams, be the driving force, 4 finals MVP. We wouldn't even have to talk anymore.
Really?
Nope.
So the article in question we're talking about right now was written by one Mo Dakhil. I don't know Mo Dakhil. I don't know him, but I'm starting to wonder if that happens to be your pen name, if that happens to be your pseudonym that you are now posting for Bleacher Report, articles attempting, unsuccessfully, to reignite the GOAT debate. How can you reignite a wet match? I ask you. It's wet. It's done. It's over. The Last Dance was your last dance. It's over, Shannon. It's case closed. Game over. Good night, King. You could see it for 10 straight episodes that LeBron has never been able to call upon the kind of killer will that Michael showed you in The Last Dance. LeBron has never been able to call upon the explosive clutchness of Michael Jeffrey Jordan. More clutch.
Yeah.
LeBron has never been able to call upon the cold-blooded but highly successful leadership you saw in The Last Dance that resulted in 6 finals with no losses and 6 MVPs for Michael Jordan. It resulted in 9 first-team all-defenses. 9? Till LeBron 6. Once upon a time, LeBron was a good defender, but he wasn't this guy, because this guy was a defensive player of the year.
We should have been.
Michael Jordan led the league in steals 3 times to LeBron's obviously none. And dare I even bring up 10 scoring titles to LeBron's 1, 10 to 1.
That's all we needed.
Well, what are we talking about here? It's just completely over. So you're telling me if LeBron James manages to win an asterisk championship, it will be known as the COVID championship. It's a season in which it's going to be abbreviated with a 4-month hiatus. What a great break for a guy in year 17 that had made a great run toward MVP, and boom, the lights went out. And 4 months later, refreshed, he gets to come back and lead a sprint to the finish line. Okay, God bless, way to go. Yeah. The gods were good. The basketball gods said, let there be LeBron in year 17.
Yeah, but why are we putting an asterisk? Isn't everyone under these same conditions? Mm-hmm. Didn't the season stop for everybody else? For Portland, for the Clippers, for Milwaukee? Didn't the season stop for them also?
It's tainted. It's not right.
Skip.
It's not pure.
It is.
It's not.
Is it not basketball?
When in the history of basketball have they said, let's stop for 4 months and then let's restart?
Well, they stopped in 99. The season started in what, December?
I told you, I'll put an asterisk beside Tim Duncan, David Robinson.
No, you want to do
I'm a Spurs fan. That's an asterisk season. And by the way, 2012, LeBron's breakthrough against the Baby Thunder.
Ain't no baby
asterisk,
Thunder. Ain't no baby.
Asterisk season.
No.
That didn't start until December 25th.
I know
a little bit tainted.
I know what you're doing.
I'm not doing anything. It got done.
No. You want to put an asterisk by the Spurs now, so therefore you can say, see, I put an asterisk by theirs, so the LeBron James, no, we're not doing that.
Lockout, shortened season. Nope. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
No.
Here we go. I don't think they're going to win anyway. I think the Clippers are going to win, but it was a great break for the Lakers because the Clippers had not had many games with both Kawhi and Paul George in the lineup at the same time.
We put Fuss in them with both of them.
I think it's 2-1 this season. 2-1 Clippers.
Do we play y'all again? Will we play y'all in Orlando?
I don't know yet. I don't know how that's going to fall out. I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good.
All I care about is the Western Conference Finals. And I'm hoping that the Clippers will have had enough reps to get ready for a LeBron and company who have played together all year long.
We got to get hold up. When you say the season stopped for 4 months.
Yeah.
So we start for 4 months, we weren't able to play together.
How many more reps did LeBron and AD get than Kawhi and Paul George? Thousands. Thousands.
Hold on. It's not my fault that your guys made a paper mache and they can't get on the floor and stay there together.
You mean the reigning finals MVP, that guy? Huh, interesting.
Oh, Creaky knee.
Oh, Creaky. They creak.
Yeah.
But when it's time to play, he seems to show up and play.
But you know now they got to play every other day. They're going to have to play every other day, Skip Bayless. We're going to see how well them orthopedic shoes hold up.
So, to me, I don't even want to start bringing up all of LeBron's epic failures on the championship stage, going all the way back to that final series against Boston before he left Cleveland first time. The owner accused him of quitting in that series, and you're still trying to make a GOAT case?
Yeah.
Seriously? And then the 2011 finals, his first big one with the Heat. Huge stage, up 2-1, games 4, 5, and 6. He shrinks. He disappears. Chosen one equals frozen one.
So a man averaged 35, 13, and 9, and he shrunk.
Disaster.
A guy averaged triple-double, lose, he shrunk. A guy is 6 rebounds short of another triple-double, he lose. Now, Michael Jordan losing in the first round, but he was playing historic. Now, they said the 16-17, the 17-18 Golden State Warriors are the greatest teams ever. And that's what LeBron had to go up against.
To me, the greatest team ever was the 98 Bulls.
That ain't what they said.
Best defense.
That's not what they said.
That's what I said.
No.
Okay.
So my guy has 3, about to get 4, with 4 finals MVPs, with 3 different teams. Skip Bayless, in year 17, and guess what? We're not done. You know we're coming back next year, right?
I just want you and LeBron to keep doing your phony GOAT dance in the wake of The Last Dance. You're the phony GOAT. You know it, and I know. You're rated PG phony GOAT. That's what your movie 20 years from now, it'll be rated PG phony GOAT.
The LeBron James story, how I became the GOAT. Skip Bayless, we gonna win the title this year. If Pete and Repeat was on the fence and Pete fell off, who was left, Skip?
I'm not going to answer that.
because you know it's going to happen.
Really?
2020, 2021.
Really?
Back-to-back, Jack.
Really?
Yeah, back-to-back, Jack.
Okay, I am willing right here, right now, to bet you 50 cases of Diet Dew that the Lakers don't win back-to-back championships starting right here, right now. 50 cases.
Nope.
You'll wipe me out.
Nope.
You'll clean me out.
Nope.
I'll have to quit. I'll be done.
Nope.
I'll be out of business.
I do.
You won't do it?
I do 10.
10 cases?
10 cases.
Oh, I'll take 10. Thank you for 10 free cases of Diet Dew.
Hey, LeBron and AD cannot get hurt. If they get hurt, bets off.
If they
So
hurt,
if injury happens in the 2021 season, because we got this thing in the bag.
well, for like one game? And
No.
Well, you got to give me a duration of hurt.
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
You got to put your due where your mouth
I'm
is.
putting it up 10 cases right now, back-to-back. Get back-to-back champ.
You got the GOAT. So if you got AD, and I think DeMarcus Cousins is about to come back, so you got him to fall back on?
We don't know. We don't know.
What do you want some injury out for?
I'm talking about 2020. I don't want nothing this year. I just want popcorn. Because I'm going to sit back and watch.
Are you?
I'm going to sit back and watch. I don't want nothing popcorn this year.
All right.
You're just going to watch. You're not going to comment? Oh, okay. You're rarely speechless, Shannon. Somehow I just don't believe that. I cannot wait for the NBA to be back. I am so looking forward to actually watching, criticizing the play on the court. Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney had to defend himself for how he handled things when an assistant coach used the N-word in practice back in 2017. Swinney said it was used in a teaching manner and not directed at a player. Then another former player called Dabo out for suggesting players not participate in a sit-in related to diversity issues on campus. And just this last weekend, Dabo had to defend himself after he was seen and photographed wearing a Football Matters t-shirt. So, Shannon, do you have a problem with his response yesterday?
Well, I do, Skip, and I still need some clarification. I need Dabo to explain for me that if somebody has a different view or a different opinion on than his, why do they need to leave the country? Let's start with that first. Skip, I just think...
Which is what he said in 2016.
16,
yeah.
Yes. For me, Dabo thinks prayer and football is the answer for everything. Skip, I'm just going to stay right here. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I do. What's going on out there, it doesn't affect me. Yeah, I'm going to try to insulate my players. But you do know, like, a lot of your success was on the backs of black players. This affects them. And they want you to, as the football coach, you're more than a football coach, Dabo, because Skip in his 14-minute video yesterday, the first 2 minutes was rambling. He mentioned football team, he mentioned football coach, probably like 3 or 4 times, and he talked about how Clemson has been a leader both on and off the field. No, Dabo, you won a bunch of football games. That's what Clemson's been the leader in. Because when your players tried to bring attention to some issues that was concerning to them, you tried to shoot it down. And this issue that with Colin Kaepernick, you made it abundantly clear that, you know, you did dislike. It seemed to me, Skip, he said 2 wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, the killing of unarmed black men and women might not be, it's wrong. That's a wrong. Protesting because that's against the flag, that's wrong. And since 2 wrongs don't make a right, I'm just going to stay with my wrong and ride with that. I just don't get it, Skip. I don't get what he doesn't see, that everything is not right in America. Yeah, America is good, but not for everyone. And I guess it's good for Dabo. So Dabo said, if it's good for me, you got black, if you had 2-term black president, how many times you heard that, Skip? America can't be racist. You had a 2-term black president. You got Michael Jordan. Look at LeBron. You got some blacks that's doing really, really well. Okay. The system that was in place, Skip, because what has happened, Skip, is hard. If you start out like this, and this is how America started out. They started out with black America as being slaves. So they were here. White America being here. Skip, how do you see? How do some get past that? That's all they see them as, is less than. If I see you less than, it's easier for me to treat you less than. I don't view you as equal to. Because if I viewed you as my equal, I wouldn't treat you. I wouldn't talk to you like that. But that's not how they view it. And Dabo, for some reason, thinks because you have black people in prominent positions or they can play quarterback now, or they can be head coaches, that everything's okay. And it's not. Oh, prayer, but I believe in prayer and I believe in faith. Well, blacks have been praying for 400 years, and it doesn't seem for a lot it's gotten any better. White people pray too. See, that's what makes me get upset, Skip. It's like the flag. Only white people are patriot. They only one can be patriotic. Well, my faith, black people pray too. They go to church, Skip.
Do they?
And the situation hasn't gotten better, Dabo. But you could have kept this. They say silence is just as bad as the act, Skip. If this was all he was going to give, he could have just kept that. Because, like I said, he got that base in Clemson, and they're going to back him, Skip. So you have to understand where Dabo is, why he said what he said, because this is all he had. And then the coach, he go like, I know Danny. Okay, I get that. But he was wrong. And you don't correct someone. When you know that's a word, Skip, you don't correct someone. Skip, look, I've been around people, I've been around women, and they call their girlfriend the B. I ain't going to call her that. I've been around gay people, and they call each other derogatory names. That don't mean I get to do it.
No, it does not.
And so Dabo, you're like, oh, he was just correcting him. No. You say, we don't like that kind of language around here. You know how Coach Swinney is. Coach Swinney has made it abundantly clear. We don't like you. We don't use the N-word. We don't use GD. You don't say N and then talk about, well, I was just trying to correct it. No, Dabo, you got to miss me with this one. This right here, that was terrible. That was 14 minutes. I'm never going to get back, Skip. I hopefully at some point in time, I won't need that time, but I can't get that 14 minutes back because Dabo said a whole bunch of nothing.
I hear every word you just said, and I'm going to go one step farther. This is Drew Brees all over again, except worse. I don't believe Dabo is going to apologize in any way, shape, or form for anything he has said or not said or done and not done over the last few days or over the last few years. And again, we're back to just like Drew Brees. Is Dabo a bad guy? No, he's not a bad guy.
No.
Is Drew Brees a bad guy? Nope, not. They're cut from the same cloth, God and country. But they are both blind to what is going on with Black America right now. And they are classic, elite, white, oblivious insensitivity to the issues at hand. And how Dabo is getting away with wearing that T-shirt, football matters, at this time, it's a slap in the face of every black man and woman in this country. You know it, and I know it. Several white people have been fired for saying all lives matter.
Right.
Or, as I told you, the editor of the Philadelphia Inquirer, fired because of a headline that appeared in his newspaper, buildings matter, after the lootings and burnings. No, you can't do it.
Right.
There's nothing clever about that. Because right now, the issue at hand that Dabo cannot see past the end of his nose in his privileged kingdom that he rules. He's the king of his kingdom. And he can't understand that the issue is it just keeps happening. Black men and black women keep getting, I think, murdered by white cops, unarmed murders by black cops. And it finally took watching what for me was the modern day equivalent of a lynching, a white cop with knee on neck on concrete of George Floyd and just choked him to death right there in broad daylight, knowing full well he's being videotaped with a hand in his pocket, smugly murdering a black man. It took that to rally this country. And for the first time ever, a whole lot of white ears, and I don't want to make this just a white issue, a lot of people's ears and eyes have been opened to this cause, except Dabo's. You would dare to wear that shirt? Because it really speaks volumes about you. It's the truth of what you believe. In your world, all that really matters is football.
Correct.
You are making huge money because of football. But like Drew Brees, you have a huge platform you could use to get behind the momentum of this cause right now. Drew Brees has all the passing records, all-time records in the NFL, every one of them, completions, touchdown passes, yards, he's got them all. And what hurt you the most was he could have used that to help.
Yes.
Instead, he's insensitive. Oh, it's all about the flag.
I'm just a football coach, you know.
Yeah, and he's just
I'm not a politician, coach. You know.
So not only did Dabo dare to wear that T-shirt, which really said it all about Dabo, but then he dared, in the video he posted, to say, I think black lives significantly and equally matter. God loves us all. Well, isn't that the equivalent of all lives matter?
Yes.
Dabo, you're being oblivious. You're being insensitive. We get it. God loves it. We get that. But Dabo, you have 3 sons. 2 of them play on your team. They're receivers for Clemson. Do you have to give them the talk that every black parent has to give to every black child in this country?
No.
This is what happens when you get stopped by the police.
Right.
You have to comply. Yes, sir, no, sir. Put your hands up on the dashboard because we just want to get you home safely. We want you to survive this interaction with potentially white cops, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a good chance you just might get shot for no apparent reason.
Yeah, this other pandemic, racism.
Yeah, racism.
You know, you got COVID-19, you got 1619.
Boy, do we.
And both, one of them, we hadn't found the cure, Skip, in 400 years. They hadn't found the cure yet.
Okay.
They got cured AIDS and smallpox and all that, but they ain't got no vaccine yet for that racism. Good God of mercy.
So now we get back to a protest that was held 4 years ago at Clemson, a university that was actually founded on the site of what used to be a plantation. And the owner, John C. Calhoun, historically employed 80 slaves, or didn't employ, what I'm saying, employed.
Yeah.
He had 80 slaves.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the very foundation of your university is just all wrong. So that building had some racial epithets. First, there was some black history that was commemorated there, and so the black students said, "We're going to protest this racist graffiti that was painted on the black." Right. Okay. So they go in 2016 to protest, but Dabo tells his football team, I don't know if you guys should do this because it's a little risky because you're not just another student, right?
Right.
So in a way, according to some of the ex-players, he discouraged them to protest because it doesn't get the football team anywhere, right?
Yeah, it's a distraction. You know,
it's a distraction. It's all about football. Why can Dabo get away with this? Because he is 69-5 over the last 5 years. 69-5, that's the best record in college football. He's been to 4 championship games and he won 2 of them. Can't get a whole lot better than that, right? So he is becoming the #1 football coach in college football. And because of that, I guess he's going to get away with something virtually nobody else in college football could get away with.
No.
Coach Saban might be able to, maybe Lincoln Riley, but they're not going to wear that T-shirt.
Yeah, they're smart enough to know, especially in a time like this, Skip, optics is everything. Just like he discouraged his players from going to that sit-in because of the optics.
Yeah.
Those are football players. Like you said, you're not just Joe student sitting in. You're a Clemson University football player.
Right.
Dabo, you do understand your words. You're not just a normal white man uttering these words. You're the head football coach at Clemson. You're 69-5. You won 2 of the last 5 national title games. So that carries a lot of weight. Speak like you go out there and you speak about God and faith and what it meant in your life. Speak about that on them issues and let that carry the same kind of weight. But that's not, it doesn't impact him like it does a black person. So Skip that, and like I said, you got to get someone for 1 second, Dabo. You're not Dabo Swinney. You're black. And the same afflictions that affect most black men in America when it comes to interaction with the police, you're black. You're not Dabo. You don't make $9 million. You're not the head football coach. You're black. And you have a black son, black father, black dad, black uncle. And what's going on? For just 1 second, Skip, that's what you need. You need someone that has empathy and can see themselves for just a second as black. Although it's hard. Picture yourself that, envision that. But Dabo, he won't allow himself. Oh, God, faith, football. Skip, football is not helping this. Yes, well, you know, black and white, they got, you know, he said, Skip, in 2016, I go to an interracial church. And it's quite possible, Skip, you go to an interracial church and you're praying for 2 different things.
True.
That ever down to you, Dabo? That never crossed his mind, Skip. Oh, we got interracial marriage and you got black. What the hell does that have to do with anything, Skip? Dabo, little did you know, well, before they was married, white men were sleeping with black women long time ago. First probably documentation of it might be, on historical perspective, it's probably Thomas Jefferson.
Good point.
So this notion that all of a sudden we should be happy. Oh, you should be happy. Black and white, y'all can be seen together. And you can get married now without the threat of being in prison or killed. Wow, Dabo. Wow.
And finally, Dabo seems blind and ignorant to the fact that white people cannot use that N-word. Even the one that black people have turned into the one that ends in A that black people call black people, right?
Right.
White people cannot use that word even to repeat it back. Like here at Clemson, we don't say that word.
Right.
You don't say that word.
Exactly.
That's where a leader who gets it has to step in and put this fire out. For me, I would have suspended that coach, at least to show the players I will not stand for that here. But it would have been something that we communicate as a team. And he's going to stand and speak, and that player's going to stand and speak, and other team leaders are going to get to the bottom of this and get it out where everybody can look at it and size it up. What just happened? And clearly, he just swept it under the carpet and went right on. So some of the ex-players are still...
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe, Skip, that only the player and the coach heard this interaction. Now, look, I understand that, like, a lot of times, Skip, there's defensive stuff going on down there, and you can't hear everything because everybody has their individual drills, and even in a team situation. But it's hard for me to believe that only two people heard this because it seemed to be the only two people, and Coach Swinney was involved in, as he said, handled internally. But that...
So wrong. I can't believe that we're even still having those conversations at times when you think about using the N-word. It just feels as if, how are we not past it? And I cover college football, and we're seeing a lot come out with coaches and players, and we got to make a change. There needs to be a change here because there are too many stories coming out about coaches that have not acted the right way. No mercy. Hyde played 3 seasons in San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick and now thinks it's time the quarterback gets signed. While discussing what the league can do moving forward, Hyde said signing Kaepernick would be the first step toward proving that the league is moving in a new direction. And guys, Rob Parker is back with us. Rob, good to have you. I want to start with you. Do you want to see a team sign Kaepernick right now?
I would like to see it. I think he's not old. Guys can come around and play. I'm looking at Kaepernick maybe, Skip and Shannon. It would be like a Charlie Batch, where he's on a team, Charlie Batch was a backup quarterback in Pittsburgh for, it seemed like 10 or 12 years, for a long time. And there were times when they needed him to come in and play in a game or be in a situation. I just don't want it to be a token gesture where you're really looking at this guy. Tom Brady's about to start this coming NFL season. He'll be 43. Colin is not that old and not in a situation where he couldn't contribute and mentor some young quarterback out there and teach them. At one point when he broke onto the scene, he was the hottest new thing in quarterbacks, if you remember. I think Ron Jaworski went crazy, you remember, and said that he could be the greatest quarterback who ever played.
He did.
You remember that? That was how crazy it was when he came on the scene. So I think he has something to offer. And I think there's a team out there that could really use him. And it would be good. It would be a feel good and let this guy get an opportunity to get back to what it is he does. And, will it be a little bit of a distraction? Sure, there would be. But I think after a while, people would understand he's back to play football. What's going on outside the football field is happening, and it's already a movement and whatnot. And I still think there's a place for Colin Kaepernick.
But see, think about what you said. You prefaced it, as long as it's not a token. And there's going to be that segment, Rob, that believes that the only reason that he's getting an opportunity now, after 3 years, is because it would be a token. Look at the climate in America. Look at what's going on in America. And he was at one of the forefronts of this movement. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't pan out. His skills has deteriorated because remember, Rob, he hasn't played in 3 years. That is a long time to be dormant and to try and come back and be a professional athlete. He doesn't make it. He gets released. Everybody's going to say he didn't get a fair chance. He didn't get a fair opportunity anyway. So I believe the NFL is damned if they do, damned if they don't, because a lot of people will believe it's just a token gesture. And if he does not make it, they're going to say he didn't get a fair opportunity. Kind of like that trial.
Shannon, this is what, let me say this, though.
Okay.
They got Jay Cutler off the couch, right, and brought him back.
Yes.
And look at some of the other quarterbacks that they've come to go back and get. Who was the other coach, the quarterback who was a high school coach who was still coaching football games and in the NFL? I can't remember who it was. But I'm just saying, there are all those guys who got NFL jobs and getting NFL checks.
Rob, Skip and I made that point. 3 years ago, we know he was whiteballed. We know Colin Kaepernick could still play. But because of the protests and because the climate now wasn't that then, so people didn't want to touch him. We know that. That's my point. The reason why we're upset is that because when Cap could play, he wasn't afforded an opportunity to show that he could play. Now, if he comes back, you said, yeah, I want him to get an opportunity as long as it's not a token. But if he does not make it, see, everybody's going to say he didn't get a fair chance. They brought Jay Cutler out of retirement. They signed a guy that hadn't played in like 7 or 8 years, hadn't thrown a handful of passes. They brought them. So how does the NFL win in this situation?
So, Rob Parker, all those quarterbacks you mentioned, starting with Jay Cutler, who came off the couch, none of them was Colin Kaepernick. He is a trailblazing pioneer. Mm-hmm. We all now see, as you wrote in your piece the other day, last week, he was right. He's a groundbreaker. He has huge aura, huge mystique, huge presence about him. The less he spoke, because he hasn't really spoken at all since the last game he played, which was the end of the 2016 season, but the less he's spoken, the bigger his mystique has grown. It's huge presence that he would bring to a football team. It would be international media exposure if a team signed Colin Kaepernick. I'm with you, Rob. It would be a feel-great story if somebody would. And I look at Jacksonville right now. Is Colin Kaepernick, as he's going on age, he would play at 32 next year. Is he better than Gardner Minshew? He was. He was a lot better than Gardner Minshew. I don't know after 3 years, could he flip the switch and be better now? Maybe. But they've got Mike Glennon on that roster at Jacksonville. They got Josh Dobbs on that roster, and then that kid they drafted from Oregon State in the 6th round. Is Colin potentially way better than any of those four? Yes. I'm not a big fan of Dwayne Haskins in Washington. Kyle Allen's now the backup that they got from Carolina. Would Cap be better than Dwayne Haskins? Yes, to me, he could be if he's still Colin Kaepernick as we knew and loved him as a player. Those first 2 years in San Francisco were extraordinary. He carried that team once he got it in midstream when they switched from Alex Smith to him. He carried that team to a Super Bowl and threw a pass at the end of the Super Bowl against Baltimore. I thought it was pass interference on Crabtree. They could have won that Super Bowl. He got that San Francisco team right back the next year to the NFC Championship game versus Legion of Boom in Seattle. And it comes to a last-second throw that Richard Sherman got his hand on in the end zone. That's how great Colin was. He was 17-6 as a starter. Then the team began to decline, and his numbers began to decline. And he wound up 28-30 as a starter. But look at the touchdowns, interceptions, 72-30. There is no doubt he could be better than the quarterbacks at Jacksonville and Washington right now. But what are the odds? It's like Cam Newton, Rob. Why doesn't he have a job right now? Because he's not a backup quarterback. Everybody sees Cam as starter or nothing. Mm-hmm. He's too big. He's an MVP. Colin Kaepernick was too great for a while to be a backup quarterback. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants that quote-unquote distraction on their team because right away the media would be campaigning if Colin were the third or the second string quarterback. The media would campaign, he should start. Give him a chance. And
Skip,
teams are afraid of that right now.
I get it, but what if he goes to Jacksonville and then, first of all, they wouldn't have to play 3 games in Europe because they'd be able to sell tickets. How about that?
Yep.
And what if he just goes there and actually gets a chance to get back, Shannon? I know maybe not overnight, but have some time to get back into that and actually play well and get back. What a story that would be. Colin Kaepernick, ostracized, shunned by the NFL, out of the league for 3 years. He was right. He was trying to tell us about the police brutality and what was going on. He gets back into the league and gets a chance to play again and actually plays well. If he was 37, I would probably say no. Forget it. He's 31, going to be 32.
Rob, let me ask you a question, Rob. How many guys, professional athletes miss 3 years of their prime career, come back and pick right up?
No, not many. I agree with you, Shannon. It would be, but it could be a great story is all I'm saying. And if you're one of these franchises that don't have a lot going on for you and there's an opportunity, and then again, the Jacksonville owner is the only minority owner in the NFL. I mean, that would be for a good story to say, I'm willing to give this guy another chance, a second chance. I should be that guy. I've been given, depending on his background and what's happened to him, this might be a great point for Jacksonville to do something different.
Florida, I don't know, Rob, about that. I mean, it's gonna have to be somewhere. It's gonna have to be somewhere where the fan base got a really open mind. I don't know.
I understand you want something more liberal, huh? I mean, that's San
I want something
right?
kind of a little bit more open-minded in that, that cap protest was not about the flag. It wasn't about the military. It was not about the vets. And Colin Kaepernick loves his country. You got to clear those obstacles with a fan base.
Would they sell tickets, though, Shannon, in Jacksonville? They cover up the seats and they play abroad because they can't sell any tickets down there.
Not very good. They weren't covering up the seats when they had Mark Brunell and Keenan McCardell and Jimmy Smith and Fred Taylor. They ain't cover no seats, Skip. Yeah, you lose. Yeah, you're going to cover a lot of people cover their eyes, too. That's not the only thing that's being covered.
By the way, how far is Jacksonville from your hometown in southern Georgia?
2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
So it's pretty close.
Pretty close,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, just for the record. So, Rob Parker, big picture. I was hoping that at least Colin would become a spokesman for the current cause that has caught fire around this country. For whatever reasons, he is not comfortable with being that spokesman to take leadership of this cause. So it leads me to wonder, what is the future for Colin? Because Shannon and I have not been sure that he does want to play football again. Because remember the ill-fated debacle of a workout he had last November in Atlanta? The bad blood between him and the NFL. He said, we don't know what happened, but it was supposed to be at the Atlanta Falcons facility. And Colin, at the last second, moved it about 60 miles south to a high school near the Atlanta airport, right? Mm-hmm. And there were 25 representatives of NFL teams that were going to be at the original workout, and only 8 made the trek 60 miles south. We don't know exactly what didn't happen, but it left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Shannon was thinking, well, maybe Colin doesn't want to play. Maybe it's just not. Maybe it was he just wanted to show up to sort of hold the NFL's feet to the fire here. But the point is, we're not sure if he wants to play, if he wants to lead. We haven't heard much from Colin lately, so we're cloudy on the issue. We're not sure where his head is right now.
I think that Colin even showing up to that thing, I know it wound up being a debacle, showed me a little bit that he wanted to play football. Otherwise, Skip, why even bother going to that? He could have just said, the NFL set this circus up, this dog and pony show, and I'm not going to be a part of it, so don't even bother coming down. He could have done that. Now, why he changed the plans at the last second and derailed everything is good, and I hear you. We have not heard from Colin. But I'm just going to go off of a guy his age who played at that level at one point in his career. I don't know how he could really look at it and say, like, he doesn't want to play or give it one more shot, especially at his age. I do believe he wants to play, but I think he wants it to be under the right circumstances. Yep. And Shannon, you mentioned this earlier. You know how you get hired. Somebody called you up. It ain't the league setting it all up.
Thank you.
The team calls you up and says, hey, we want you to come out. This is how we view you.
Yeah.
We want to see what you still have. Can you come out? Can you meet with us? Can we talk to you? Can you throw some footballs around our wide receivers? And that's the conversation you want to have.
Rob, you're making Skip and I's point. Because the league set it up. And you said normally it's a team. So you said, see, they're doing him a favor. They're throwing, he's like, this is not normal. So now you're already skeptical. You're already cynical going into it. Why are they doing this? Are they guilt? Or did they feel bad that they whiteballed me out of the situation? Yep. And then when it goes awry, it says, see, I told you. So we're back to square one.
No, I got it. And that's where the issue comes in, that there's mistrust, and I understand why Kaepernick feels his way. But I do believe I would love more than anything to see him. I do not own one football jersey. I do not. The only football jersey I ever had was, I think, a Vince Ferragamo jersey when I was in high school. But I'm telling you, it was on sale and I bought it.
Imagine that. On sale. Some things never change.
But I would buy
like a Shannon Sharpe jersey or something.
I swear that's the only football jersey. It was on sale at Modell's in the rack, and I bought it.
You guys surprised by that? Apparently not very much.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers missed the cut for Pro Football Focus's top 50 players heading into the 2020 season. Despite being just on the outside of the top 50, Pro Football Focus said Rodgers is trending in the wrong direction and is part of the, quote, problem in Green Bay. Rob Parker is still here, but Shannon, I gotta start with you. I know you got a problem with this, but how big of a problem do you have?
I have, this is answer 9, answer 10, answer 1,000, Skip Bayless, and you know it. This is utterly ridiculous, Rob Parker. Hold on. You mean to tell me there's 50 players in the NFL currently that are better than Aaron Rodgers? Last year, this is what I wrote this good. Rob, check this out. Aaron Rodgers became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for at least 4,000 yards, more than 25 touchdowns, less than 5 interceptions, and he dropped off a cliff. In the 100-year history, no quarterback has ever done that. Now, there's a guy on the list, I won't call his name, but he finished 24th in this ranking. Aaron Rodgers had more wins, more touchdowns, higher completion percentage, more yards per attempt, higher QBR, fewer interceptions. One guy's 24th, the other guy didn't crack the top 50.
And now, the one guy had no receivers in New England.
Whoa, I thought it was my turn. I thought I had the floor, Rob. I thought I did have the floor.
You have it. Go ahead, Shannon. Preach.
This is ridiculous, Skipper. You know it. The man dropped. There's a lot of quarterbacks who want to drop off the cliff and throw more than 25 touchdowns and fewer than 5 interceptions and win 12, 13 games. There are a lot of quarterbacks who want that kind of cliff. Where can they get that at, Skip?
Is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn. This is ridiculous. I can't even believe Pro Football Focus would even put this list out. Got Aaron Rodgers outside the top 50, Tom Brady with those numbers in the top 25. That's utterly ridiculous. That's after 50,000.
And the other part, too, that is so ridiculous is he's part of the problem. Do you remember, Shannon, when they got a new coach and LaFleur, and it was about Aaron Rodgers is hard to coach. He improvises too much. He goes away from the script. He followed, he tried to change, do what the coach wanted, and all he got was criticized this year. I do not get it on what it is that people want. And here's the other thing, too. Count them out if you want. Tom Brady went 10 years without winning Super Bowl, 10 years. And Aaron Rodgers, I think it's 9 now since he went to that Super Bowl and won it. You can have a second win in your career, and Aaron Rodgers is still good enough and still young enough and athletic enough to be that. Even if you want to take a look at his numbers and say they're not the eye-popping numbers that he had when he was MVP, I don't know how you can look at Aaron Rodgers and not want him and think that he's a game changer in those moments. Go back to that playoff game when he was 8 for 11 or 8 for 12. Shannon, do you remember on third downs when they needed those passes to keep the chains moving when they beat Seattle? Do you remember that? Yep. Those are the plays that are the difference between making the playoffs and losing in the first round and advancing to the NFC Championship game. And you can say whatever you want. It was a bad matchup with the 49ers, and he had no time, and he was attacked and whatever. Yes, but make no mistake about it. The Packers aren't as good without Aaron Rodgers. They're kidding themselves if they really think they're going to win anything, and Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the main focus and the guy involved.
I am enjoying this topic very much.
I bet you
because my response to both of you is simply this.
Okay.
I'm giving you the Michael Jordan Portland response. Like, I've been trying to tell both of you this for 3 long years. His stats are in decline for 3 straight years. He had his lowest QBR of his career this past football season. He had a 54. It ranked 18th in the National Football League. His completion percentage, it's a big stat, important stat, ranked 23rd this past football season. That was the second lowest of Aaron Rodgers' career. It has been slapping both of you right in the face, but you won't listen to me. You got to listen now to Pro Football Focus, which in its capsule explaining why it didn't put Aaron Rodgers in its top 50. Top 50. It says, Aaron Rodgers has become ever more evidently part of the problem in Green Bay. And his own team spent the offseason laying plans to minimize his role in 2020 and replace him beyond that, obviously, with Jordan Love. It's case closed. Who did I tell you was the MVP of the 13-3 Packers last year? It was the other Aaron. It was Aaron Jones. Look at the numbers he put up in the biggest games they played last year. Aaron Jones had 154 yards rushing at Minnesota, arch rival. He had 116 yards rushing against Minnesota at Green Bay. At Dallas, he destroyed my Cowboys with 107 yards rushing, 4 rushing touchdowns, and caught 7 passes for 75 yards. At Kansas City, he only rushed for 67, but he caught 7 passes, did Aaron Jones, for 159 yards.
Who threw him the ball? He threw the ball to himself?
Who flipped him the ball? Basically handed him the ball on little flip passes, little dinks and dunks.
That's what Tom Brady made a career out of.
He was dinking and dunking. Rob Parker, Aaron Rodgers completed only 52 20-plus yard passes. Those are called big pass plays. That's his worst since 2008, and his completions on deep throws was his worst since 2009. And
we're the receiving core that he has.
He had Devontae
because this is the argument.
I think Devontae Adams is like at least a top 10 receiver. He had Jimmy Graham, who came up big in that Seattle playoff game.
He caught one pass. Skip, stop.
It was big. It was the pass of that game, right?
Skip, you know that's the argument you used for Tom Brady's season. Is that he didn't have anybody. Devontae Adams was even hurt for about 4 or 5 games during the season, Shannon. You know that.
Yep.
Who did he have?
Scantling. Pretty good.
Football. That's what Matt LaFleur wants to do.
He actually, wait a second, Aaron actually had a wide open Darius Shepard, the rookie from North Dakota. He was wide open in the end zone against the Eagles. I needed it so badly for my Cowboys. And Aaron says, I can't see you. You're standing wide open because they blew the coverage. I'll force it to the double covered Valdez-Scantling at the goal line, and it will get tipped into an interception that ended the football game. Way to go, Aaron. You did it to me again.
Rob, you see what Skip did? Skip said Aaron Rodgers' QBR was 54, which was 18th, which was his lowest of his career. Can you tell the people at home, Skip, who was 19th behind Aaron Rodgers?
We don't care. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
No, we do care.
We're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, he had the lowest completion percentage of his career. He was 23rd in completion percentage. Can you tell the people at home who was 27th?
Okay.
Tom Brady.
I'll tell you what I'll do this year. I'll take Tom Brady's stats this year versus Aaron Rodgers. Both of you. I'll take you right now.
Let's do it.
Name it. Whatever you want.
Whatever. Hey, let's do it, Mr. C's, and I want double lobster instead.
Double lobster, whatever you want. Lobster and Diet Coke.
Rob, but that's not what Pro Football Focus is ranked this on. They didn't rank that on this year. They ranked it on this past season. So based on last year's numbers. Hold on. Did you see Tom Brady in that divisional game against Tennessee? How did he look to you? Now, Aaron Rodgers. Did you see that, Skip? I know he didn't lose at home.
Did you see Julian Edelman in that game?
Whoa. Nice Julian Edelman. You see what he do there? When Tom Brady
all
played,
I know is I saw the pick six Yes, to end up, that was his last pass at the New England Patriots, and it was so fitting.
Wait, did you see Tom Brady throwing to Julian Edelman? And he led the league in drops last year. Julian Edelman, a guy I predicted would make the Hall of Fame, or at least should be in the conversation. He hit the wall, broken down shell of self last year. That was your go-to receiver. Way to go. Well, congratulations.
If your guy stopped throwing them ambulance balls, he wouldn't have to worry about that, throwing them in harm's way.
Okay.
You know, last year we saw the end of Tom Brady, and this year, I'm telling you, Skip, I'll take any bet. They're not making the playoffs. This is going to be, remember what I'm telling you. They will not, NOT, make the playoffs.
So for you, I'll just do this. I got one dinner. Brady's stats, his overall stats, will be better than Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I'm on that.
We'll do touchdowns, interceptions. We'll do passing yards for sure. All those good stats, they'll be better in Tampa than in Green Bay. And also, Tampa Bay will make the playoffs for another dinner.
All right,
okay?
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
You guys got it all out of the way? All the dinners? You have a lot of dinners to do when we come back, go out to dinner and sit together one time soon.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Seriously, Rob, thank you. Good to have you. I can say it. I can say it. Good to talk to you. Thank
Shannon,
you for joining us.
Shannon, you're not happy that I'm back? Come on.
No.
Skip. Skip is.
We'll save it for another day, Rob. Thank you.
No mercy.
With the NBA season being pushed back, all the speculation about Kevin Durant making a possible comeback can be laid to rest. Durant said that his season is over and that he did not plan on playing at all. He said it would allow him to focus on next season and the rest of his career. So, Shannon, did KD make the right decision here?
What I tell you, you don't want to listen to me. See, you just wanted somebody to come back there and try to spoil this homecoming that we got going on. Because that's what we got going on. We finna do this thing, right?
So you dodged another one.
Hey, no, dodged another one. Skip, they said Kevin Durant was going to miss the season. He's going to miss the season. It wasn't about him coming, well, if he'd have came back, theoretically, he would have been a year and yada, yada, yada. No, they said Kevin Durant will miss the entire NBA season this upcoming season. Kevin Durant is going to do that. And the one thing I know about having an injury, Skip, when you have an injury and you believe you rushed yourself back to play or people put outside pressure on you to come back and you get injured, you go way the other way. Skip, you make sure you're 1,000% healthy. And that's what Kevin Durant's going to do. Because, Skip, you do realize, basically they're going to have a month off. They're going to come back and play. They're going to have the playoffs, and then they're going to take a month off, and then they're going to start right back up again. And Kevin Durant says, I want to make sure I'm 1,000%, not only for the 2021 season, but for the rest of my career. And so that's what's going to happen. I told you it was going to happen, and I was right yet again.
You were right for LeBron's sake, because this is all about not wanting the best player on the planet to come back and spoil his party. And I am so disappointed in the best player on the planet. I call him that almost every day on this show. It's true? And he did say, I'm going to miss this season. Well, he missed it. It ended on April the 15th.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
And his Nets were the 7th seed, and they would have lasted past April 15th. I don't know, maybe a couple more weeks, 10 days, and the season would have been over.
Okay.
By July 31st, when the NBA relaunches, thank you, NFL and NBA gods, for coming back. But when it happens, that will be a year and 2 months since his surgery. That is plenty enough time to completely heal from Achilles reattachment. I'm sorry. It makes me wonder about Kevin, because great players just play. Michael Jordan came back early from injury. Magic and Bird and all the great ones, they just played because they loved the game.
They didn't have injuries like this late in their career.
Okay, well, it's not that late. It's in the middle of his career.
No, Skip, this is year 12 for KD.
Okay, but again, he can play 6-8 more years. Yes, he can.
Okay, yes.
LeBron is, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, oh, my goodness.
But everybody is LeBron.
So
everybody ain't Iron Man.
Look, he got to miss the season, and he also, with a 25% pay cut, he still made almost $30 million for doing nothing. This was right on schedule. Kyrie would be 5 months from an arthroscopic shoulder surgery. Arthroscopic, it's not a big deal. It would be a 2-month heal. He would be 1,000% ready to go. You know it, and I know it, and you're just happy that LeBron gets another break and another pass.
Yeah, LeBron don't need any breaks.
I don't know what Kevin's doing. This feels like coasting to me. This feels like a little semi-retirement. I won my 2 rings in Golden State. What more do you want from me?
He said,
play, Kevin, play.
I'm coming back healthy. So let me get this right. Since the season is over, so this is going to be, the second half is going to be LeBron. 18 for LeBron? Is this going to be year 18, the second half?
It's a continuation.
Okay, then. So the season is still
LeBron
going
didn't
up.
have surgery, right?
Exactly. And
He had some kind of pulled something going
What did
last
KD
year.
say?
Right.
KD, they said, he and Rich Kleiman, who is his manager, agent, says KD is not playing this year. They made that clear.
This year ended a long time ago. The duration of it ended a long time ago. They were talking about the time it would take to play an 82-game season is way past. By July 31st, a year and 2 months? You help me out. You know Achilles reattachment. Is that enough time to be right? You better believe it is.
Kevin Durant says he's not playing, Skip. Let it go.
We're going
to win the championship.
Yeah. See, this is where you show somebody what you're made of. In the end, you just say, watch what I'm about to do. Me and Kyrie, watch what we're going to do.
I know what KD is made of.
If you add them to that Nets team, I like that Nets team a lot. That Nets team was 30-24, mostly without KD and with all without KD and what was it, 20 games of Kyrie?
Yep.
You put those two on top of that roster, there's firepower there. They would have been a threat to win the East, and wouldn't it have been delicious to watch Kevin Durant against LeBron James again in the finals, if, in fact, your guys can get by the Clippers, which I have my doubts.
You remember what happened? KD last year was injured, and he rushed back, and it cost him. And KD says, I'm never making that mistake again. And plus the fact, you're going to throw his rehab. He's on a rehab schedule. Now you throw that all out of whack.
The Achilles rehab doesn't take more than a year.
Hey, whoa. That's not your Achilles. It's his. He ruptured his Achilles. He says,
you're acting like it's yours.
No, but I just want the best. Look, when guys like Kevin Durant, they come along rarely. So I want them to be at their best. I don't want to see a shell of Kevin Durant. I want Kevin Durant to be 100% healthy.
See the video of him? He looks great.
Hell, everybody look good in video.
Okay, but he looks like he's lifting and launching just as usual.
Lifting what?
Yeah. Huh?
He lifted them shots. I mean, Kevin Durant going to be able to shoot the ball. Skip. Look, you see, you want Kevin. See, you're not worried about the man's health. You want Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant to come try to throw a monkey wrench in LeBron's.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, see,
I've said that from the start. I want him to show me Kevin Durant. Show me best player on the planet. Show me historically great.
He is.
This would be a storybook story.
But he's not the best player on the planet.
Well, it's obviously.
No, he's not.
He proved it the last.
That's 23. And we changing numbers next year, too.
He was on the way to becoming the MVP of the last year's finals.
And we're changing numbers next year.
Who is?
Me and LeBron. LeBron going to a different number. I think it's going to be 6. We're going to get 80-23. Yeah.
Huh. Back to the old Miami nemesis number? Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Sell a bunch of jerseys. Guess what's going to number one selling jersey next year?
Really? I hope he doesn't freeze up in the finals.
There you go with that.
No mercy. Well, guys, I just don't know how I feel about this. Vikings Pro Bowl running back Dalvin Cook will reportedly hold out from all team-related activities until he receives what he deems a reasonable extension. The Vikings' initial offer is being reported at less than $10 million a year. Shannon, how much does he deserve?
Well, Skip, sorry about that. The thing is that what running backs know now, Skip, is that basically if they have 3 or 4 or 5 year contract, they normally have to play that contract out and then they'll franchise them. And so Dalvin Cook says, I'm one of the top running backs. I understand what you're going to do. Skip, the value of a running back is basically in his first 4 years because that's when they're going to try to put the lion's share of the work on him. Yep. And so Dalvin Cook's like, no, I'm not going to let y'all use me up and make $1 million, $1.3 million. But and he realized, Skip, he's missed 19 of a possible 48 games.
That's 60%.
Yeah, Skip. So
I got 29 of 48. Go ahead.
No, I got him. He missed 2 games. He missed ACL, so he missed 12 games. He missed 5 games with a hamstring in 18, and he missed 2 games last year with a shoulder. So that's 19 games, right?
Okay. Go ahead.
12, 5, 17, 19 games. Yeah, 19 of possible 48.
Okay.
So he realizes that I need to strike while the iron's hot because I play another year and things might not go well. So he's trying to secure his future and get more guaranteed money now.
So here's his problem. His quarterback next year is scheduled to make $40 million guaranteed dollars. Kirk Cousins.
Oh.
Who helped make Kirk Cousins successful
Cook.
last year? Dalvin Cook, who had the second most yards from scrimmage, to Christian McCaffrey,
Right.
who just got $16 million to play next year in Carolina, right?
Yep.
So again, he's saying, I'm scheduled to make $1.3 million. He has been injury prone. I'll give you that. But he's also been dramatically impactful for this team.
If you notice, Skip, Kirk Cousins plays a lot better when Dalvin Cook runs the ball a lot more.
Agree.
I know the offensive coordinator. He was my offensive coordinator, Gary Kubiak.
Yep.
They're going to run the ball. They're going to play action, boot off of that. So Kirk Cousins is going to have good numbers. But if you can't run the ball in that offense, your quarterback's not going to have a whole lot of success because Kurt is not a guy that can carry your team. He needs the running game to set up what he does off of that.
He should hold out. He should get a lot more. He should get close to what Christian McCaffrey's.
That's right.
It's going to be hard for me, guys. Oh, we need Cook.
You in trouble, Jenny.
We need Cook. That is it for Undisputed. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, guys. See you tomorrow.